So the Chicago Bears and Detroit Lions face off in a rematch this week. It's crossover Thursday with Locked On Bears and Locked On Lions. I'm your host, Lauren Cox from Locked On Bears, alongside the host of Locked On Lions, Matt Deary. Again, our crossover Thursday is presented by PrizePicks. Download the app and use our promo code LOCKEDONNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Matt, I feel like the Lions' path to victory here is a little bit more obvious. So maybe we'll start with the Bears here. A couple of things I want to see them do to try and pull off an upset here. I went through since Thomas Brown took over as Bears offensive play caller before he was head coach, but just offensive coordinator. Since then, the Bears run less play action than any offense in the NFL. I think the Lions run the second most. The Bears run the least. And last week, they finally stuck with DeAndre Swift and got the running game going. So I'd like to see them kind of, get him 20 carries and run more play action off of that. Just put a lot of these backup Lions defenders in a tough spot to have to read, run, pass, get Caleb Williams into a little more of a rhythm, and then open up some deep shots downfield off of that play action. Like, that's what this offense has been missing, some explosive plays on that side of the ball. And then I think on the other side, you got to be aggressive defensively here and understand that maybe the weather will not keep Goff from being an accurate quarterback, but maybe limits some of the downfield shots you can take if, the ball's a little cold and hard and you're trying to get rid of it a little bit more quickly and just take more of the easy games. Then that means, as soon as the ball's in the air, run after the catch and go make those tackles, like step up and get after the quarterback, put him in some tough spots to try and have to make some of those more difficult downfield throws in maybe a more cold, windy type of weather day that makes those harder to hit. And I think you have to play high variance football at this point. You live and die by that blitz, live and die by the big plays, and hope that if you just hit on a couple of them, that can be enough to swing this game in the other direction. Because otherwise, if you try and play conservative ball control football against the Lions, they're just going to take you to the woodshed.
Yeah, I'm concerned a little bit about the Bears' deep passing game and some of the guys that are ready to be unlocked against, like we talked about, so some cornerbacks. I mean, Khalil Dorsey had to play because of all the other injuries that the Lions have had in their secondary, and now Dorsey's out for the year. I mentioned Carlton Davis being done for the year. So you're thinking Kindle Vildor, you're thinking Emmanuel Mosley will get a shot. Would Brian Branch be moving from safety to corner? And could they get Melifonwu back, who hasn't played all year, and he slides back into safety where he was a year ago? A lot of question marks there. Terrion Arnold, I think, has had a good year. I know PFF doesn't love him, but I think for a rookie, he's held up pretty well. And Amik Robertson's been very good in the slot. Maybe he moves outside, which could help them. But Vildor has had his moments that just have not been good. So that scares me a bit. The one other player that I really think needs to be eating for the Lions on Sunday is Adarius Smith. We haven't really talked about him much over the last couple of weeks. He was a great pickup right out of the chute at the trade deadline. He's going to help. He's not Aiden Hutchinson, but he's going to help get to the passer. If that poor kid from Yale or whatever is out there at left tackle this week, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. But give me the pronunciation.
Yeah, Amagaji.
Yes, if Amagaji's out there again, I mean, that poor guy. It was Monday Night Football, and it just false starts and holdings. He wasn't ready, and if he's out there at left tackle again this week, if you're Zadarius Smith, you've got to be feasting on that. Force Caleb Williams to feel uncomfortable, and especially like you said, cold weather. I know they're at home, but make life miserable for him, and then ball control for the Lions. Yes, it's cliche to say, well, they'll just hold the ball longer so the defense isn't on the field, but actually do it in a way where you're getting everybody involved. Lions offense is so good when St. Brown's touching it. J-Mo, Tim Patrick, Laporta, they're using the other tight end, Brock Wright, and Ben Johnson. Look, let's also be honest here. Ben Johnson, this could be an opportunity for him to show off a little bit in front of Poles, in front of Warren, and do his thing. And so I'm not saying double reverse pass with Penei Sewell as the first play of the game, Lauren, but you're going to see some things, and they got to be careful with the wind and everything else in the conditions. But I do think some creativity will do the Lions some good this weekend.
I do hope we see another double reverse pass with Penei Sewell. That would be like, especially in that game. Like, I wanted to see him at least like get the pass off. And I wasn't rooting for a touchdown there, but like that was cool. Like I appreciate the like real creativity as opposed to like the Bears have tried their forms of creativity and it's handing it off to Doug Kramer on the goal line and he fumbles. Like that's the difference between these two offenses right now.
Is this a Ben Johnson showcase game? Like, is that I know you listen to the talk shows and you have your own show every day, but is that who the fans want? Is he number one on the list?
Yeah, he's definitely there's two camps between Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. Those are kind of the two number ones. But I think Bears fans lean Ben Johnson generally there. I haven't seen like a real poll of that, but just sort of reading the social media posts, it feels like it. And I mean, that's the thing about, like, is it a Ben Johnson showcase game? I mean, I think the Bears and Bears fans, we're already sold that Ben Johnson can get off.
Everybody knows what he can do.
That's not the question, right? The question is, how is he as a head coach? How is he as a leader? How is he going to set the culture of the organization without Dan Campbell, above him, sort of setting the tone that way? And I don't know that there's anything he can do to showcase that in this game, but another nice reminder of how good his offense is certainly would go a long way. It does seem like this Bears ownership group reacts a little bit to public perception there. I mean, it was the Lions beating them on Thanksgiving and national stage where everyone was talking about it that led them to fire Matt Eberflus for the first time a coach fired in season, because it was a big national game type of situation. So, if a big game from Ben Johnson can keep rallying the fan base around Ben Johnson, maybe that pushes them a little bit more in that direction.
No, I think there's no question about it that everybody knows what he can do, and he's been phenomenal. Ben Johnson has been very picky and he's going to take his time. If that Bears opening, there's obviously been rumors and reports that he wanted the Bears job last year, which wasn't open, but if he feels like Caleb Williams is somebody that he can, put a battery in his back and make him great, he'll go there. But if he also looks up and says, I don't know who's in charge. Is it the McCaskies? Is it Kevin Warren? Is it Ryan Poles? I'm not dealing with that. Whereas in Detroit, Brad Holmes, the GM, works alongside Dan Campbell very well. And I know Troy Aikman kind of talked about that a little bit the other night, how that's been the model for other teams. Arizona does it that way with Monty and with Goodwin. So, we'll see. But Ben Johnson could end up staying if there's no openings. And he'll talk to everybody. But if it's not something to his liking, he'll take his time. We've already seen that.
I will say there's a group of Bears fans that not only want Ben Johnson, but also want Ray Agnew to take over as GM, have him hire Ben Johnson, and just
package deal.
And it's amazing that we've reached the point. Like, I think we need to take a minute. Like, it's amazing we've reached the point where grabbing the Lions GM and Lions front office person and Lions coach is the desirable. Like, we want to emulate the Lions process here. Is incredible for how far this team and this organization has come, just from a league-wide perspective.
No, it's awesome. And look, Aaron Glenn already is promoting Kelvin Shepard to one day be defensive coordinator in Detroit. If, let's say, AG leaves, or if a team is looking for a defensive coordinator, like you said, the Bears are going to have a whole new staff. Lions have a really, really good coaching staff. And that's the thing that I think can maybe get them through this just gigantic mash unit is, hey, they're 12-2. They control their own destiny, but the coaching staff is really good. And if they can keep it together, maybe still get that 1 seed, it's going to be important. But as you know, Minnesota right on their heels, and certainly Philly's hot. So Lions have to win every game. And I think they'll win this weekend. I think 28-21. I think the Lions will get it done and beat a Bears team that looks like they've got I-94 eyes right now.
That's a great phrase. Yeah, I'm in a similar boat there. Like, I think the Lions will get to 30 easily. I was going to say, even 31-17 is kind of where it feels like to me. Like that, I just don't. Yes, it's going to be cold weather, but I think Ben Johnson's going to eat against this Bears defense that's really struggling. And then the Bears will score a little bit more than they have in recent weeks, get a couple touchdowns maybe, but it's going to be another like too little too late. It might be 17-0 at halftime, and then maybe the Lions take the foot off the gas a little bit. They still score in the second half a couple of times, but the Bears climb back in, and you're like, maybe they got a shot here, but no, not really when it's all said and done.